Hey everybody, it's SmirkSmileGrin again, coming to you with another character tutorial. So this one is Reliquin and Berserking. If you haven't seen it, check this out. And please, if you like the video, subscribe, give it a thumbs up. I'm not sure if there's any other videos posted. I know this is becoming more and more popular ever since Cloud Rush came out. And I've had the build for a while, but I was kind of waiting until I could get enough trait respects to try and finish out most of it. Just try and show you as best damage as possible. I'm not going to make all the gear gold. I'm getting a little rusty on this character because I haven't really played her in a while. So pardon me if the DPS is not optimal, but it's still going to be pretty high. So if you don't know how to weave, don't feel bad because I'm not great at weaving, but I'll still break 30k DPS on a 6 million target dummy. Just mediocrely being okay with my rotation. So check out the DPS first, and then I can leave a timestamp later on for the build. But alright, let's get started. Dun, dun. And you're trying to keep out your AoEs as much as possible, so I'm gonna try my best to attempt that. At the same time, you want all your animal spells on your bar. You don't want your Caltrops and your arrow rain to drop off. You don't want your pet to go away. You're trying to keep the... oh crap. Totally missed that, I think. Hopefully I didn't hit it. Miss it. It feels like I'm like lagging out or something. My character's not hitting anymore. And my weapons aren't even in my hand. It's so weird. Oh, hopefully all that's hitting. We're just gonna assume that it's hitting. Again, you're trying to shatter the armor by using those beetles. So you kind of want the beetles out as often as possible as well. So you're not doing great with your sustain. Again, you can skip certain abilities in your rotation, but I'll walk you through the rotation as well. I'm not completely following it. Die. Alright. So 30k DPS again. If you saw that rotation, it's kind of embarrassing. So obviously you can get way higher, and that's 6 mil target dummy. So if you actually practice your rotation, again, I haven't played this character in like a month, and I'm still pulling 30k DPS. Uh, um, so this build, so you're doing Selene. You can do Veladrith. Veladrith obviously is going to be better if you're dealing with something that has a larger hit radius, but like a target dummy or something that has a small hitbox. Selene's procs a lot, and it's pretty solid to go with. It's also easier to obtain. Reliquins, again, I got all my Reliquins and all my advancing Yokota in normal. It just took me a lot of runs, and I just upgraded the Yokota. I actually can do them in vet. It's just I don't feel like dealing with certain people. But yeah, so you want divines on all your pieces. So divines on your pieces. So again, 5-piece Reliquins, 2-piece Selenes with divines, and then 5-piece advancing Yokata. I did bloodthirsty and weapon damage on my jewelry. I wanted divines and all this, but I'm missing divines on the hands. And then I went with dual daggers for optimal damage. Nirnhone on the primary, and then I did infused with weapon damage and spell damage increase enchant. So the way it works, of course, is advancing Yokata is just stacking your crit strikes. So as you're hitting, your melee damage is stacking crit ratings, and then as you're hitting, your advancing Yokata is casting that whirlwind on it. So see that whirlwind ticking. So the more you auto attack, so you're casting that into your rotation, you're stacking this debuff on the target, and I'm gonna stop it. Alright, so you're stacking this debuff on the target. It says your light and heavy attacks apply a stack of harmful winds for 5 seconds. Stacks up to 20 times. So you're throughout your rotation, you're trying to stack that debuff. And then your Selene's Mask is going to proc that bear attack that is a massive amount of damage. And I'm using Maelstrom Bow with Poison Enchant on it. And just your swapping between your bars is going to be able to keep that dot on there, especially with that hail rain stuff. So Maelstrom Bow with Precise to give more crit rating. The abilities I have on my bar: Poison Injection, Endless Hail, Razor Caltrops, Rearming Trap, Cutting Dive, Wild Guardian, and then again Cutting Dive, the Bleed that increases damage, Subterranean Assault, Rearming Trap, and then Bold Netch. So Bold Netch is going to give you that increase in spell damage, spell power, or spell damage and weapon power. And then having your pet on both bars is going to allow you to keep your pet out at all times as you're weapon swapping. Rearming Trap is just amazing because it allows you to have that 10% increase crit damage. Subterranean Assault is going to shatter the armor. This is just going to stack a really high damage bleed. And then Cutting Dive is just a really solid ranged attack, or really solid like auto attack. You can use, especially if you're not Warden, you can use Rapid Strikes. It does similar damage. But Cutting Dive, you can just throw it from range. You can almost use it as a range attack. And it's just I just like it because I'm a Warden, and it's going to increase my damage as well. So, Warden passive on Animal Companions, if you haven't noticed it. Your magic and stamina recovery is 12% if an animal ability is slotted, but it also gives you increased damage done by 3% for each animal companion slotted. So you want to have as many animal abilities on your bar as possible, and Fighter's Guild abilities. These Fighter's Guild abilities, the passive for Slayer, increases weapon damage done by 3% for each Fighter's Guild abilities. So you want to have Fighter's Guild and your class animal companions on your bars as much as possible to increase your raw damage. And that's pretty much the setup right there. Again, we're going into champion points. So I just did break free, sprint, mooncap, because you need a ton of stamina recovery for this build. And then I did your stamina and magic back on heavy attack increase, because again, you need that sustain. You're trying to go for a longevity fight. Dodge roll, just because you're going to need dodge roll, and I went with dodge roll mainly because you're wearing medium armor, you're going to have that reduced dodge roll, and you are going to need to block sometimes, so you want to go on the block. You really don't have anything else to put points into except for health recovery, because everything else you use as a warden right now is going to be using stamina. You don't really need any of that stuff. Increase your damage done with direct attacks, so 63 in Master of Arms, and then I went all the rest Thaumaturge, because your damage over time attacks, a ton of damage over time. Increase crit damage done. Physical pin, you don't need to go too high because of your Mundus Stone. So you went Mundus on all those because your Mundus is going to be the boon of the lover. So you're already going to have pretty high penetration off just that alone. So you don't need to go too high with that other stuff. Again, I went all max stamina, if you didn't notice. Also, before I forget, so what I'm using right here is the damage health poison, but I am also using essence of power potions to increase my DPS. You can use pretty much whatever food you want. You don't need this dry food, I just had it on me. You can use the blue food to do health and stamina only. It's a lot cheaper. I mean, food's cheap in general, but you only need stamina and health. What is going on with my weapons? Look at that. That was on the ground dragon. But yeah, so that's the build. Sorry I haven't posted in a while. Hopefully you guys can pull 30 plus K DPS on these target dummies. Again, I was jacking up my rotation. I could probably pull 35K if I actually practiced. That was my first attempt in a month, and I think it was pretty good DPS for having the worst rotation I can think of. But thanks for watching. This is SmirkSmileGrin. Please subscribe and give a thumbs up if you liked the video and found it helpful. You can find this gear in Slingsweb. Web. What is that kit? Slingsweb, Cloud Rest, and Hellraw Citadel. I had to look at this just to think of it. But yeah, so Slingsweb, it's 4-man. Cloud Rest, it's Somerset DLC, so you do need Somerset DLC for it. And you can get Hellraw, you can get your Advancing Akeda there. People are paying a lot for the daggers just because they're hard to get, and people are been wanting these 2 daggers for their builds. But thanks for watching, everybody. Later.